Norman Tao should be all-star. Definitely, definitely, definitely. For sure, get that boy in an all-star team. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right. What do we think? Bro, I don't wanna, bro. Stranger Things finale. I'm gonna give you my spiel. This is what I think about the Stranger Things season 5 finale. I honestly like how Elle didn't die, but like they weren't in contact with her no more. Like she's just living her own life, and I think that's a good fitting end because if you kill her off, like you can't kill off one of the most main characters. And honestly, it was so crazy how they how Colleen. That's how you know that was her true sister, cause she changed her thought process and was like, instead of just killing, there's another way out of it, and she sacrificed herself. That's a W sibling, and how they took down Vecna. I think it was smart how they, instead of like Elle just being the one superhero, they let everybody like have some part of sharing it, because every person in the story was affected by Vecna, as they shown when Joyce was smacking the crap out of Vecna's head, and then I think it was good. Like, a lot of times shows, like when they get to the ending, they like to speed that part up. Like they don't show the aftermath at all. Honestly think it would have been a very distasteful to the show if they would have just ended it after the fight, or like right after the fight, or like a day or two after the fight. I like how they went 18 months in ahead, and then they actually like talked about how all the things played out and how their lives were, and like how they were adjusting to everything. And then the group finally got the truth to what 11 actually did, and not just thinking that she was dead. Because imagine you think your childhood friend is just dead after all the memories and experiences you had with that person, you know? But beside that, I think Stranger Things season 5, there's still some other things I would say, like with negative point. I think it's just trash. I don't know. I feel like you still could have came to this ending in less than 10 years. Like I think what also killed, like, they didn't really kill the momentum of the show, because people still like the show regardless for what it is. But like the fact that it took so long for seasons to come out. I think I don't know what was the longest time wait between seasons. I think it was from season 2 to season 3 was the longest season wait, or was it 3 to 4? Because I know season 4 to 5 was 2 years. I wanna look at that. What was the longest season wait for Stranger Things? Okay. Okay, so season 4 and upcoming season was the gap at 3 years due to the production and the complexities of the 2023 highway strike. Okay. Season 4, a significant gap due to COVID. Okay, so that's what made the show even longer. Okay, but like I just hated the long gaps between the seasons. I get like you want to perfect a perfect season, but like, man, like I feel like it's just like, because there were so many times this show could have gotten threatened to be canceled. I don't know how many, like, the show was about to get canceled altogether, but all them boys, they made a bag. I don't know if y'all knew, they made a bag, like a milli each. Like I think some made more than a million, but a lot of actors got paid a good amount of money for just season 5, which is I think good, because the actors are getting compensated correctly. Because this is gonna live on for like decades. Like this is a I think this is a generation defining show. Like That's how good Stranger Things is, in my opinion. But yeah, besides that, I think I've aired out all my grievances, all my opinions. What do you think? I think Millie and Noah both made 4 and 5 milli from this season. Really? Top five show ever? Ooh, ooh. It's how. I think I would say top five show this century. Maybe, yeah, you could have an argument. Top five show this century. I think it depends on your criteria. If you're talking about culture impact, how much relatability the market likability, like the market aware, like the notoriety of the show. Like, so if the common person can see that and be like, oh, that's Stranger Things, like they can, like, they don't even have, they have to have they can have like a sense of a show or something. Yeah. In terms of longevity and culture impact and how the decade that the fan base, it was a different concept. Yeah. That is true. I think the concept of the show, I think, helps gratify it a lot because it took 80s culture, right? It took 80s culture and it took D&D, like a geek and nerd game, so to speak, like Magic, and it combined it together, it fused it together, which is a very interesting, which was very interesting and cool in my opinion. And then it had all the other stuff. Hey, fuck off, boy. I play D&D. I'm just telling you what the name of it is, my guy. But I think that's what was appealing to the show, because it wasn't just younger people who liked the show. I think millennials liked it, and even the generation before, like what are they? Gen Xers, right? Or whatever they're called. Millennials and Gen X's, right? You gotta be creative to make a campaign. I'm making one right now. That I get you. I it's like, all in all, I think season 5 finale, I think it was good. I just think it could have been better. I think it could have been like, I just hated the time waits. And if the time waits where it is, then it is what it is. Mm. What did you think? 60s to 80s, yeah. Okay, Gen X and Millennial. What did you think of the finale? What did you think of the finale? What did you think of the finale altogether? What are some things you did like, and what's some things you didn't like? Hmm. Look at them. Look at them. Season 5. Look at them all together. The final hurrah. I think it was great, to be honest. The only thing I didn't like was how we built up the Mind Flyer just to kill it in 2 seconds. That's true. The Mind Flyer only has... Didn't the Mind Flyer show up in season 2, though? Mind Flare. But I feel like I think like they just wanted to use the Mind Flayer as a prop. I don't think he was supposed to be the as significant. Like, he was like the host. He's like a parasite. He was a parasite, and Henry Loki, another part. I think the dynamic. I wish that, one thing I wish they would have did more of, honestly, in the show. I wish they would have experimented with that's what I'm about to get to, the Henry dynamic. I don't feel bad for him, but I feel like there was a little bit more potential to get more out of his character. I feel like they just waited to the end just to show all, like, why he was bad and all of this stuff. I feel like there could have been more nitbits and stuff over time and stuff. There was about, like, his story through the lab and all that stuff. I know, like, they did some of that, but I wish they would have experimented with more of his childhood and, like, how, like, he grew up more. Will saying it was never him. But Will was wrong, though, right? Will was wrong. He, like, at face glance, yes. I think that's the paradox of Henry. I think that's where they try to get you. I think at face glass, when you see that memory, I felt bad for Henry when we first saw the memory, and in the volume 1 of season 5. I did feel bad for Henry because like he had like he killed somebody, but then when he's when Will's in the hive mind, of course, and he's talking to Henry. He's like, I chose it, and that's right. When a person has a choice, you have two lanes. You have good and bad. He knowing he was being manipulated, but he still chose to do bad. So in that case, I don't feel bad for him. I still think he's a really good character. I just don't feel bad for him, you know. But that's where they try to get you. They try to get you. But that's the makings of a good show. When you can make the villain a sympathetic character. When you can take the antagonist and you can make him sympathetic and get the audience to come over to his side a little bit. Show was about Will with 11 the main character. I think Will and 11 are co-main. I think I think the whole group are main characters because all of them have the shine at some point. You know, I think here and this is and I think the main characters are 11 and Will. Like the 11 Will and Mike. Mike is included in the 11 part. The only thing I didn't like about the writing was how they tossed Will to the side for 3 seasons. That's true. That is very true. But I feel like all the main cast had their spotlight. I think like in season one it was like Mike and 11 a lot. Season 2 was like Will was kind of like in front of it. Like Will and then season 2, 3 and 4 like 3 and 4 Max I think season 3 was like Max was front in case she had a big role. Like Max and Lucas played really hard, strong. Season 4, that was Dustin all the way. Season 4, Dustin carried hard. I can't even lie to you. From both 3 and 4, for sure. And I think Max and then Mike. I think Mike had a part in all the seasons. I think like his most like up front spot in the show was season 1. Robin 2, of course. Nancy, Jonathan, Steve, all of them. They were more season 2, 3, and 4. That was how their character developed more, you know? Robin had the spotlight season 5. Yeah, she did. For sure. I agree with that. I think they had to give her the spotlight at some point. They couldn't just leave her off, you know? Because people would have been annoyed with that. People been like, oh, you didn't talk about Robin, blah, 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 blah. But all in all, though, I think Stranger Things, it was a good show. I think it just took way too long for it to get to the final ending. Because I remember watching Stranger Things in 2017, and now for it to be 2025 is kind of crazy, though, you know? You know what I mean? Honestly, I hated Eddie. You hated Eddie, really? I did not fuck with Eddie. I think some of the supporting characters, I think Stranger Things, they purposely made you feel a certain way. When you were connecting with the subordinate characters besides the main group, because it's just the roles they portrayed, you know? Eddie was portrayed in a certain way. Billy was portrayed in a certain way, you know? So it's just like, Erica's the funniest easily all day. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. But I think in Stranger Things, they made you feel a certain way about a character. And a lot of shows don't always do that. Sometimes they just leave characters to the side and they just kind of become a background character. But every person in the show usually had like the fan base had some feeling towards them, you know? I fuck with Billy a lot too. I do. I fuck with Billy a lot too. So, and saying that, Stranger Things, if I were to give a rating of the show, I would give it like a 9. I would give it, being objective, I would give it a 9 out of 10. That's what I'm gonna give it. I'd give Stranger Things 9 out of 10. It's just there's a lot of things that I think they could have just played out better, you know, and that's why I can't give him that 10 out of 10. Billy shit ass childhood and still saved out under the mind flare. Yep, that's true. That is very true, man. That is very true. All right. Off to Fortnite now. Off to Fortnite, boy. Off to Fortnite, boy. Daddy Hopper stayed alive though. Yeah, I thought Hopper was gonna die. Damn. I was like, they really didn't kill Hopper. Damn, but they really did use Colleen as the death, man. We knew somebody was gonna die. I just didn't know. Season 3 Hopper could do anything he wanted to me. Alright, buddy. Relax, mate. Alright, get on Discord, boy. Enough of this